So today we have the privilege of being joined by the most decorated Olympian of all time, Mr. Michael Phelps. Hi Michael, how are you?
Pretty good, how are you?
Good, thanks. The first thing that I wanted to ask you about, strangely, is boxing. Because I heard that in the run-up to the Olympics, you did a lot of boxing training. Is that true?
I mean, leading up to the Olympics, we did so much different kind of, training routines just to keep it interesting. You know, I mean, it was kind of hard sort of only being in the pool or only being in the weight room. So, you know, it was something that added some flavor and some excitement to our everyday training routine. And you know, being able to, sort of watching the sport change into what it is now or what it was last year, you had to have a stronger core. And, you know, boxing, we found that kind of helped us put everything together and made us focus more on our core strength than anything else.
Because I actually saw some video footage of Lochte doing sort of tire flips and stuff like that. Were you doing that kind of stuff too?
No, I didn't do any of that stuff. You know, I think everybody is different and everybody prepares themselves differently. And, you know, I guess a lot of my, strongest points used to be for my core, not anymore. But that was my biggest part that really helped my strokes flow.
And of those sort of quirkier types of dry land training, which one did you get the kind of most pleasure from doing? Which one did you enjoy the most?
Well, I mean, I always enjoyed doing things, I guess, like new things at the beginning, and then I just kind of get sick of them. You know, like I used to love lifting, and then I hated lifting, and now it's just like, I don't really mind it, but it's not my top choice. I used to love boxing, but once it kind of grows old to me, so I was kind of over it by the end. So, you know, we went to like pushing a sled down a beach with, you know, weights and the, like a weighted sled, had like a shopping cart, and we kind of turned it into a sled. So, I like to think of like the training that we did was all done around like a Rocky type-esque gym. So it was kind of like old school, like nothing too flashy, nothing too exciting, but we went in and we got the job done.
What do you do in terms of kind of psychological preparation before a big race?
Before a big race, there's really not much you can do. You know, I think all the work in you know, really everything that you do is done in the preparation. You know, so for me, I was preparing myself, you know, to be able to come to London and do what I planned to do for years leading up to that. And you know, once you get to that point, once you get to that swim meet, you can't change how you prepared yourself. You can't change your strokes. You know, whatever you've done in workout is going to come and show during the meet. So at that point, you try to relax and just try to have as much fun as you can.
And how motivated for these Olympics were you compared to previous ones?
You know, I was looking forward to you know, finishing how I wanted to. And I think that was something that was big for me and important for me to be able to finish my career how I wanted to and to do it on sort of my own terms. And you know, looking back at my career, and I can say I've done everything I've ever wanted, and that's fine. And that's all I wanted. I'm happy, I'm satisfied. I can hang my suit up and be done and never have to worry about a what if I did this or what if I did that. And that's something that I'm very proud of.
And what would you say the top 3 races of your career have been, the kind of most memorable?
You obviously have to put up the 400 IM from 2004, because it was my first Olympic medal. The 200 free from Beijing was probably one of my greatest races of all time. It's hard to not put the 100 fly in there or the 400 free relay. So there are a lot of races you can put up there, but I think individual-wise, top 2 would for sure be the 400 IM from 04 and the 200 free from 08.
How do you kind of stay relaxed when you're sort of on the blocks? Is that something that's quite difficult to do?
Now that I'm sort of retired and done, I started picking up golf, and I think I'm more comfortable standing on the block in a Speedo in front of millions of people. I'm more comfortable there than I am standing on the first tee at a Pro-Am event. Like, you know, for me, when I'm on the block, I'm in my own zone, you know, I'm in my own element. So, just once you get to that point, you just get up and do what you have to do. You don't think about anything, it's just kind of like second nature.
And how much does music play a role in kind of helping you kind of stay calm and focused when you're kind of walking out and about to race?
I can look at music as kind of being like a soundtrack of my life, you know, like sort of, you know, there's a song for everything that I've done in my career. You know, like I can, you know, if I hear a song, I can think back to this moment or that moment. You know, obviously like Lil Wayne, Eminem, you know, those guys have had some pretty good lyrics that could kind of, I guess I can compare to my life and things that I've done. But I mean, there are songs that remind me of my mother or songs that remind me of my sisters growing up.
So how much of rivalries played a part in your career?
It's always great to have somebody to race and have somebody to compete with, but at the end of the day, you know, I'm preparing to do the goals that I have and that I want to achieve, and you know, I can only control myself. So, I mean, I've tried to really just focus on my own goals, and if I get them done, it doesn't really matter what anybody else does.
And in your time in the US swim team, you sort of evolved from the kind of younger guy to having this kind of mentoring role. How's that sort of been for you? Has that been an enjoyable process?
It's been cool. You know, we've been able to see a lot of people sort of grow up in the swimming world on the national team and really come up and get ready to fulfill some of the people who are retiring and who are leaving the sport. So, you know, we're going to lose a lot of people in the next couple of years, and you know, we have a great younger team that's ready to be able to continue to lead our country into success, and you know, we strive for excellence, and we've been able to be very successful over, you know, I've been on the national team for 12 years, and we always seem to come out on top.
Has the mentoring made you think about whether or not you'd like to go into a kind of coaching role more? Is that something that you consider?
When it comes to coaching, I could not see myself doing what Bob does and doing what some of these other coaches do. You know, I know what some of the frustration that I put Bob through, and I couldn't imagine another swimmer putting me through that frustration.
You must see a lot of really bad swimming technique, and I know you said that you didn't want to be a coach, but if I said to you, what are kind of the three of the most common mistakes that people make when doing, say, front crawl, what would you say they are, and what would you advise people to do in terms of rectifying them?
I mean, I can see things. It's tough for me at times to sort of put them into words on how to do it. You know, that was something that Bob was always really good at. I mean, I can say one thing, a lot of people don't rotate together, you know, so their hips will move, but their upper body won't. You know, so one will go left, one will go right. So it's kind of like it throws you off, so then it gives you a harder time to breathe. One thing you also see is people sort of drag their feet all the time. It's pretty easy just kind of to put this between your legs, a pull buoy, just because it literally helps you float. And I mean, this is something I would always use because I was sometimes lazy when I swam and didn't always kick like I was supposed to. So this is something that was easy that I could help sort of my rotation of my body, and I could feel it more.
How much sort of training and fitness work do you do now that you've retired from competitive swimming?
I'm still lifting a little bit here and there. I'm running a lot more, just to be able to get outside. You know, sort of being outside is something I enjoy, and you know, you can just put on headphones and, you know, run around and pick where you want to go or what speed you want to go at, and kind of go on your own pace, and that's pretty much it.
And do you have like specific targets in your weight training and your running? I mean, what kind of distances are you doing when you run?
It depends. I mean, I think the max that I've gone on since London, it probably varies in between like 2 and 8 miles. And it'll just be, you know, anywhere from like a 12-minute, 15-minute run to an hour run.
Do you have any desire to go off and do the sports that you possibly wouldn't have been allowed to when you were swimming, like for example, snowboarding, you know, that kind of stuff, the more extreme end, rock climbing?
I mean, there are a lot of things that I have on my bucket list to do now that I'm done, and you know, sort of skiing and snowboarding are definitely up top, and you know, I want to be able to get back on and do some water skis and just mess around, do a lot of stuff. You know, kind of, you know, through my career, I haven't really been able to do too much, just with, you know, the possibility of getting injured or the possibility of ruining a career. So now at this point, since we're done in the pool, we can explore and try some new things.
What are your kind of immediate plans?
I'm filming a golf reality show with Hank Haney, Tiger Woods' old golf coach, and we're going places all over the world, and he's kind of teaching me to be a golfer, to help me become a golfer. Golf has been a sport I've really been interested in for a long time, and haven't really had the opportunity over the last year to really play too much, just trying to prepare myself for the game. So we're spending sort of the next 6 months to film this show and to travel a bunch. And I just came from Scotland. I played the Old Course in St Andrews, and I was all over the place there for about a week, and heading to China next week to play in another Pro-Am tournament, and then going to Brazil to play. So I'm sort of just jet setting all over the place and having some fun and seeing some new cities.
And finally, do you think that the end of Michael Phelps professional swimmer means the start of Michael Phelps professional golfer?
This is the most frustrating thing I've ever done. It's wild that I guess after my second Pro-Am, after hitting that putt was just ridiculous.
What was the putt that you hit?
I hit a 53-yard putt.
Really?
It ended up being it was 159 feet.
What was this, up in
Scotland? Supposedly it was the longest televised putt in history.
No way.
So it's kind of cool being able to sort of, just start everything going and do something, that nobody's done sort of right off the bat. It's going to be an exciting career. I don't see myself ever being professional. I want to see myself just getting competitive. Yeah. I have a bunch of friends who are very good golfers and who are always beating me, and it's just annoying. I don't want them to beat me anymore. So I'm going to put in the time and try to drop as many strokes as I can and have some fun.